Welcome to Honest Whispers Preview. On this video I'll be previewing Intron Depot number 4 Bullets Space Pirate Blue version 1/8 scale painted figure. It was released by Good Smile Company and Beagle back in October 2007. It is noted and credited that Good Smile Company did the planning, sculpting, and production, while Beagle was the manufacturer. There's no individual sculptor credited to this. Possibly they just decided not to, or it's a possible team effort. And the designer of this figure is Shirow Masamune. It is based on his artwork, character design, from his 4th art book, Intron Depot number 4, which is titled Bullets. There's no name for this figure other than just Space Pirate Blue version. And as you can see, they did release a red version. That's basically the same mold, it's just different colors. The figure itself, if I could align this straight, at least from toe to head, it's basically about 7.5 inches. But when you add the base and her hand, and of course when you have the gun on her hand, it does add approximately 2 inches or close to it, as you can see in that example. So I'm going to go over 6 different categories to review this. First category is design, which basically covers the concept and the pose. And straight off the bat, you can see that the pose, it's more of your standard standing pose, but definitely adds a lot of cool factor for me, because the way she's holding the gun, especially one up, they did design or even sculpt out the pistol that's in the holster of her costume. And if you look at the way her hand is, even though it's not in the example on any of the photographs, it does look like she has the option to hold it, which also adds a cool factor, whether if she can or not. And also with the way she has her right leg slightly bent, adds a lot of sex appeal to it. So for me, I definitely like the pose for your standing pose. It's not action dynamic or anything like that. And as you can see, even the design of the costume, everything's done really well. Credit to Mr. Masamune. And if you look at the face, the way she looks, definitely has a resemblance. She does wear an eye patch, but has a resemblance of Motoko Kusanagi from Ghost in the Shell. So the design, concept, everything about it, very nicely done, detailed. Even on the base, you see the words Space Pirate, and there is actually a code on the back, which I can't get it focused. Let me see if I can refocus from here. And from that distance, so you could see basically the code. It says 20010913, and in Asia, basically when they do official dates, they do the year first, then month and day. So this is a good chance it's the date when either he created this character or when the book was published. So basically, I figured it's supposed to mean September 13th, 2001. So very nicely thought out. I think overall, as I mentioned, a very good balance of cool and sexy. And as you can see, even on the costume, they did copy it to the T. She is wearing, believe it or not, see-through fabric. So you can still kind of see a little bit of her nipples, but she's not fully naked. So the concept for that, it's a little bit risque, but still well thought out and clever. So I give the design a perfect 10 out of 10. Next category is sculpting. That basically covers the details, the execution, and any molding issues. And as far as the details go, it's pretty much perfect. It's almost like looking at the artwork, the 2D artwork come to life. You see a lot of hair details. Everything's been sculpted. Like a lot of the lower part is sculpted, so it has that anime look and style to it. They executed the art style of Shirow Masamune perfectly. So costume, all the little details, you could see everything from her fingers, her gloves with those natural wrinkles, and even on this glove, it's partially unzipped and kind of peeling out. Has a nice realistic look to it. Down to the other hand, everything well proportioned. Her face perfectly sculpted, proportioned. Like the art style, it's literally, I mean, down to like the perky breasts, the way Shirow Masamune draws, thin long torsos, and even her butt, she has like this perky butt, the way Masamune draws. Like the photo version over here, you can kind of see. I mean, you have to look at the artwork, like the way he draws the butt, especially like the way even he draws a lot of the wedgies in the costume. That's been executed perfectly. You do see some wrinkles on the back of her bikini or shorts. Belt, you can see a lot of details. You see all these little rivets all the way through. Holster and the guns, very perfectly detailed and well done. All sharp edges and smooth lines. Let's see the boots, once again with the rivet, and it has these cool knee pad and ankle armor designs. So it really stands out. You don't get a typical thigh-high boots or anything like that. And even on her back, he designed and they sculpted onto it. Probably separate sculpt and attached to it, but it has a little strap. It looks like a leather strap with the ring at the end. Here's a photo example right here. So it kind of looks like a leash that comes out from the back rather than like from a collar. So that's a pretty cool design. And it does have like this futuristic gothic style and theme to it, which I like, because obviously it is a space pirate. It has the eye patch and everything. So sculpting, the molding, I don't see any issues as far as like certain areas. And just to give you a better look through a better lighting, I'll go ahead and change the angle, and as you can see a little bit more with better lighting, you can see a lot more details, clearer details that's consistent through on her hair strands. And as I mentioned, the costumes, you see these wrinkles, natural wrinkles like on the gloves, her elbows. And as I mentioned, I don't see any molding issues where you see a line or a seam line or anything, at least from outside the box. So from this view, I give the sculpting grade a flawless 10 out of 10. Next category is painting. Painting basically covers the colors, the quality, and the application. And you'll see the eye and even this tattoo on her shoulder. They did a lot of imprinting, but it's perfectly done and it's very clear. Like, you could see this little fine print on her tattoo and everything looks consistent. Her eye is perfectly done. You can see even a bit of her eyebrows symmetrically aligned. And you have these logos on the gun handle, the holster, and even these guns. And for something this small, it has very nice and intricate details. It's white and gold, and the gold from the light and reflection, it looks like they even used like a metallic foil for it. Colors are very nicely done. It seems accurate. This one, it even has a blend of gloss finish and matte finish, and you can see from top off the bat, like, her hair is very shiny, her face is matte finish. You can see her hand, face, shoulder, and other hand pretty much matte finish, but then you'll see that her breasts, thigh, hips, butt, and ribs, basically they have this little gloss finish to it. As I mentioned, she's basically wearing the see-through fabric on her costume, which is basically the best way I could describe, like shimmery tights. So it has a very nice shine to it. There's no, even on the hand painted parts, all these rivets, almost perfectly done. And I say almost because I can only see one mistake, and that's this one, that one rivet on the very edge corner. You could see there's some silver paint. If I could get a good focus. There is some silver paint on the bleeding on the border right there, so on the edge. So painting almost perfectly done. And just to show you some other angles, I'll go ahead and change the angle and show you how, even on the back, a better view of this tattoo if I can. And of course her back, even all the way down to the waist and everything. It's a good chance they've been assembled, molded separately, painted separately, and assembled separately. So everything pretty much, other than that minor mistake that I did see, it's pretty much close to perfect. I like it a lot. I give the painting score a 9 out of 10. Next category is packaging. Packaging basically covers the package design. This one, as you can see, is a window box packaging. And it has a nice huge window in the front where you can see pretty much everything. Nice big top window. And of course you have the same sides. Basically you have this kind of like a mid-size window with some photo examples. Exactly the same window, same photos and pictures and wording. And on the back you see an example of the red version, I guess the blue version is the variant. since I'm on the right side. Although Japanese, they do go right to left. So in my opinion, I don't know. It just feels like the red one's the variant. Can't really tell. Either way, I particularly like the blue one better. And of course, one of the reasons is because the closer resemblance to Motoko Kusanagi being one of my favorite anime characters of all time, at the same time Shirow Masamune being my favorite manga artist of all time. So the packaging, very nicely detailed and everything. Bottom's pretty much blank. So, but still, I like the design. It does have some individual, like it's not a universal box, which I also like. So for the red version, obviously you're gonna see photo examples of the red one rather than the blue version. So I do like that uniqueness as well. So I do give the packaging score a 9 out of 10. Next category is value. Value, basically when this came out, it retailed at about what was it? About 5,800 yen. At least on a website I saw it. Well, Good Small Company's website. So that is their official website. And yen back then was a little bit more expensive. So this one, even with a discount, I bought it for $60. And back then it was a bit more. Now yen is pretty much went a little bit down now, so it's almost like close to 100 yen equals $1. But I looked up any aftermarket, any used or new ones that's listed, and for used one, because for value, not only is it retail versus quality, because quality, if you buy this for $60-$70 in between, the quality you get is well worth it. But right now it also is retail versus aftermarket, and this is 11 years old. So right now the only one I've seen that's for like a used one, it's basically around $65. And there's even like other used ones that's even more, but and then for new one, I've seen them range from like 159 to 165, whether it's Amazon or eBay. So basically value is up there for something that's kind of unknown, because she's not part of like some story or anything. She's basically like just an artwork, I guess, just a concept design basically by Shirow Masamune. Especially although there are some examples in his artwork book or art book that shows his old examples, like from his actual published manga. So this one, the value is definitely up there for something this rare, and I do like the particular design. So definitely I could see this continue to go up in value as well, even if you were to buy this at 160. I think it's definitely worth it, and the rarity for this will definitely go up, just because, as I mentioned, even if the character isn't well known or popular and there isn't too much demand for it, this particular design is definitely a well sought after one, and also with Shirow Masamune, his legacy will just continue to rise, and I know that this figure will go up in value as well. Because especially for something like this, if you find a new one in a great box and everything unopened at 160, that's a little over 100% in the value. So definitely something I would expect that's 11 years old. So for the value score, I give it a high 8 out of 10. Finally, last category is overall, which basically accumulates the 5 prior categories: design, sculpting, painting, packaging, and value. And for me, overall, just want to kind of highlight, I like the pose, the costume, everything about the character, the hairstyle, the look. As I mentioned, it does resemble Kusanagi with basically it's like Kusanagi with the blue hair rather than purple hair and an eye patch. The costume design, I like it a lot. This one, I was initially going to sell it, but I couldn't get myself to sell it after taking a nice close examination of it before, doing the review. So for me, everything about it I like, and I think eventually I will probably open this once I find some kind of display space, or at least for now, just keep it factory sealed and just kind of maybe see how the other figures that's listed, how it sells, and just observe for now. So I give the overall score a 9 out of 10. So to recap, design, 10 out of 10. Sculpting, 10 out of 10. Painting, 9 out of 10. Packaging, 9 out of 10. Value, 8 out of 10. And overall, 9 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Until next time. I would say Google some Shirow Masamune artwork. Definitely just nice to glance at and look at and appreciate.